Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters and guests. My name is Dharan. I'm the SA for today's meeting. The mission of the Toastmaster is to provide supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop their communication and leadership skills in results, personal and self-growth. To run a successful meeting, we do have 3 ground rules. Rule number 1, please put your mobile phone either in airplane or silent mode. I'll give you 10 seconds. Please avoid using sex, religion and politics in your speeches during the meeting. Rule number 3, please use a sheet of paper to communicate during the proceedings of the meeting to run the meeting successfully. With this, I would like to invite the person who makes people to sleep to heal better during the surgery. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together to welcome Dr. Prasanna Vani.
Thank you, Toastmasters again. Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. With this gavel, I declare meeting number 720 open. How many of you believe in luck or destiny? 1. Thank you. My father always says there's no such thing as pure luck. It is only luck that favors those who work hard. I believe that, but until recently, after the 2 weeks in Medley, I'm starting to believe in luck. Because last week we had the theme planet over profit. And we had a meeting in a way which was very profitable to the planet. And this week, we have a meeting with an educational session on table topics. And I am here doing this impromptu presiding officer role. There could be no more evidence of the real world application of the skills that we learn in Toastmasters, especially the table topics. It is said that life is a box of chocolates. You never know what you get next. I don't really mind as long as I get some chocolate next. But we could relate it better if someone says life is like a table topic. You never know what you will get. Life throws challenges you least expect, in times when you least expect and are least prepared to face. How do we face these challenges? Just like being prepared for a table topic, we also prepare for these challenges. This preparation occurs either consciously or subconsciously. Subconsciously, when we look at people who are epitomes of being good leader and communicator and we learn from them, or consciously through being involved in platforms such as Toastmasters. But learning as adults has its challenges. It's not like being a school child or a college going adult whose only goal in life is learning. Here we have to balance the responsibilities of work, family, and also be motivated to continue in a learning path. How do we do this? It is said that growth and comfort do not coexist. We need to compromise one for the other. We need to decide to compromise on our comfort to enable our growth. The very fact that all of you have gathered here on this beautiful Saturday evening shows that your priorities are with the growth and you're ready to compromise your comfort. With that, let us start this meeting and to let us know the guests who have joined here to start their path of growth. I call upon our guest, Mr. Dharan, to come and introduce yourself, please.
So hi, my name is Tarun. So I am studying in VIT Chennai and I am currently doing BBA LLB course over there. So I am over here in Toastmasters because I want to develop my skills, presenting skills and communication, which I am pretty weak in it.
Yes, Tarun, you are here the right time. I also call upon our guest Toastmaster Ananthu to come and speak a few words to introduce yourself.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Ananthan. I came here this time as Toastmaster to enjoy the snacks. Because last time around, some of our were awesome. I didn't get a chance outside Chennai. That was on the lighter side. Toastmasters is a place where leaders are made. I think it's a place where you make good friendship and you understand and connect with people. So that's the reason why I'm over here. Last time the meeting was wonderful, and those 2 hours which she said out of the comfort zone, you come and make this place. So that's why I'm over here to try and enjoy and be with you people and try to learn along the way. So go ahead.
Just like all of us have gathered here to start the journey of growth, let us apply this principle of prioritizing our growth over comfort in all other walks of life too. To start the meeting, I would call upon the Toastmaster of the day, who is a manager at Nissan and is dedicated to a lifelong learning journey and is aimed at being a better human. Toastmaster Raghunath Nair. Please.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Though we are all scattered in so many areas, I think that energy is something which I feel is missing. So can we have it again? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good. You know, as human beings, we always tend to, we are very good in giving advices, or judging others. But how many of you have really looked into yourself and have thought, what goes through in your thought and how that thought impacts? Because what you think actually impacts not just you alone, it actually impacts the closed ones near you, and in office, it will impact even your colleagues who works with you. So the thought is something which need to be really controlled, and that's something which I thought will take us through the whole meeting today. And you know, the ability to think that critically about ourselves is something that we should look into and develop on it. Especially like when you think, the industrial revolution which happened. It took almost a decade or some decades to change and have that impact upon the last person, especially from village. But then the .com revolution, it changed in somewhere around in months. And now if you look into the digital revolutions, it happens in days. It happens in days that even at the nook and corner of your village, they adapt. Like if you talk about the chat GPT which you're talking now, it has actually taken in few days when the kids started using it, people started banning it and things like that. So how we link these two is the thoughts that you have or the thoughts that you bring is something which will eventually get, when you're into AI, is what you will get as an answer. So what I remember is, a few years back, I wasn't knowing how important that was when one of the senior guys from Google retired. He's an Egyptian guy. He retired and he started an NGO which actually looks into how do you smile. And that's a big thing, because what he said was eventually what you get from your computer or AI later, it's something which you feed into. So that is the importance of thought that you need to have. And that will change how things we will see in future gets into. So in Toastmasters, I think let's welcome our guest. Please come in. I know we were all late, so I think it's okay. We were all late, and then I thought it will be good to have it packed. So as I said, the patterns and the way we talk or we think need to be really looked into from yourself, not in how you judge others. That's very easy. But how we communicate, and that's something which we learn in Toastmasters. But in Toastmasters, we have a pattern. So usually it has 3 steps. One is the education session, which I would love to hear because they take so much of pain to come and speak about that 7 minutes and a lot of knowledge that you get it. And then you have the copyrighted of Toastmasters, which is the table topic, where you learn how to speak impromptu. And then you have one of the best part of it, learning positively and constructive evaluation how you can. But we are special today. The thoughts might have got into, we have 5 sessions today. In addition to these 3 sessions, we have one of a senior Toastmaster helping us in knowing how we get into do the impromptu speeches. So there is an education session and there is a business session at the end of the day on some subjects. And that's something which is really important in Toastmasters because the members are the key for the Toastmaster. Now, to have how well the constructive evaluation need to happen, we have a very senior Toastmaster, should I say him a scientist who has taken his PhD from IIT Madras, over 8 clubs that he has been associated with in 3 countries, and a passionate Toastmaster. Let's put our hands and welcome Toastmaster TM Sampath.
Good afternoon, TMOD. Good afternoon, Toastmasters and guests and special guests. René Descartes said, "Je pense, donc je suis." That means I think, therefore I am. I am saying, "Vous parlez, je pense," means you speak, we will think. Welcome to the evaluation team. We are going to be thinking all the time, listening to you and giving you very valuable feedback. As often said, the evaluation is the USP of Toastmasters, which attracts a lot of people when they first time see. They are really surprised that such a good feedback can happen in real life. So to help me to run through the evaluation, we have 2 teams. One is called the parametric evaluation team, tag team we call it. Another is the project evaluation team. The overall evaluation of the entire proceedings of the meeting, that will be done by me at the very end of the session. So today we have the tag team to be introduced at first so that they will come and brief whatever the role is today. So tag stands for timer, counter and grammarian. Today's timer is Toastmaster Prasanna Vani. She is an anesthesiologist at the Cancer Institute. About the theme, she says, "I have realized that most of the things that I think about and worry do not actually happen." Lucky she is. So I have stopped thinking about the uncertainties. Please join me in welcoming the timer of the day, Toastmaster Prasanna Vani.
Greetings again. As a timer, it is my responsibility to time all the speakers today. I will raise a green card when the speaker hits the qualifying time, the yellow card when the speaker hits the target time, and the red card when the speaker reaches the end of their time. For prepared speeches, it will be green at 5, yellow at 6, and red at 7 minutes. For the table topics, it will be green at 1 minute, yellow at 1.5 minutes, and red at 2 minutes. And for the evaluations, it will be green at 2 minutes, yellow at 2.5, and red at 3 minutes. All the speakers will get a grace time of 30 seconds on either side. For table topics, you have to speak for a minimum of 1 minute. Thank you. Over to you, Deepak.
Thank you, timer. The next role player will be the counter, who will not let you sneeze or cough or even yawn, watching you all the time. Today's counter is Toastmaster Nishana. She is the co-founder of Workline, which is an HR tech company. Team content, she thinks life is a learning process. We can never achieve perfection, but we can always strive for excellence in whatever we do. Welcome the Counter.
Greetings, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Generally, when we talk, sometimes unintentionally we use some filler or passwords. It happens when there is a difference between the speed in which our brain processes the output and the speed in which we talk, that is, delivers the output. Today, as an counter, it is my responsibility to note down all those filler words and passes like and any overused words like you know, so, and so on. I'll also note down any repeat words like I, this means, and so on. A quick tip to handle how to reduce those filler words is to be conscious about the speed in which that you are talking and reduce it considerably down so that which allows enough time for your brain to think, process, and then delivers the output. Now I deliver my detailed report when Jilly calls for it.
The third robotic role player is the grammarian, who will watch the language and give his report at the end. He will brief his role now and also introduce the word of the day. Toastmaster Wilson is the grammarian today. Someone who had fascination towards Amar Chitra Katha. From childhood, Ramayana, Mahabharata, etc., I used to wait for that weekly to read those stories. I think we are all with grammarian in his desire for Amar Chitra Katha. Please join me in welcoming him.
Greetings. So, as a grammarian, my role is to listening carefully to all of your speeches, make a note of any improper language usage, and it is also my duty to introduce the word of the day. Okay. So today the word of the day is exuberant, and this exuberant means full of energy, full of life. There are a lot of, energetic, enthusiastic, highly spirited, cheerful, excited. So this is a word which you can use it quite often. So I encourage all of you to use the word of the day extensively today, and I'll make a note of it. I'll also make a note of any improper language usage, any usage of good words, sayings, quotes, and all those things. I'll present my report at the end of the day, end of the session. And wishing all of you have a great day, and excellent. And also, please use the word of the day extensively as a request.
That is the 3% tag team. The other evaluation team members will be evaluated as they come later on. With this, I return the stage to Toastmaster of the day, Raghunath Nair. In my reckoning, the word of the day means medley. Medley is exuberance.
When you get to the meetings, and to, as DTM Sampath said, to be exuberant, one of the key things that we follow is clapping. And that is something which makes the person do better, and it also helps you because it helps you with your blood circulation. And so clapping is good for you and good for the role players also. When the ability to think critically is really relevant, because you get into this kind of, we may get into this conjectures rather than truth. And when you make conjectures, it is like the behavior, which means the opinion formed on the basis of incomplete information. So that is something what is really required, and the criticality of your thought and how it influences your people sitting around you or even your family. So now we move to the first session, which I really love. And before I introduce the first project speaker, let me request the evaluator of the first speaker to please stand up. Or you want to come here and then do the thing? Or?
No, I just come.
Okay, let me. When you think about the two words, epistemic and physical, what does it comes to your mind?
Thank you. I really thought that epistemic was the word of the day. Because word of the day is much easier than this one. So what I thought was sound mind in a sound body. Okay. So that is more important. Epistemic means you can explain. But what I feel here is that is something that is more needed and that complements each other. That's a way of approaching any table topic also. I think Arna also would agree to that. To say like both the words are similar or complementary as such. Okay.
Now can I request you to read out the objectives
sure.
of Toastmaster?
Thank you, Toastmaster. Toastmaster Sandhya is giving her speech on dynamic leadership for this level 3 project to inspire the audience. There are two purpose statements. One is the purpose for this project is for the member to practice writing and delivering a speech that inspires others. The purpose, second purpose, the purpose of the speech is for the member to inspire the audience. All the very best.
Thank you. So, what is, no, that itself is not bad. I think we need to really move out of the foam and then give them a big round of applause for doing that evaluation of our first speech. Epistemic means the study of knowledge. It's like, or relating to knowledge. So, and being epistemic and physical, right? There's a two contrary words that gets into your thoughts. So we will evaluate those kind of words. Now, let's put our hands together in a very big way, everyone, and let's welcome Toastmaster Priyadarshini. Okay. Oh, sorry, I missed it. Okay, great. Sorry for that confusion. Okay, the first speaker is a dentist, active Rotarian who loves social work and who derives energy from meeting people. What a wonderful way to look at it. And she's here at Medley for aspiring to be a better communicator. Let's put our hands together and welcome Dr. Sampath.
Question. You must all received gift during your birthdays from your loved ones. So may I have few responses? What were the gifts that you received for your birthdays? Few extempore responses, please.
Diamond ring.
Diamond ring. Wow. Very good. Anything else?
Flowers.
Wristwatch, flowers. Some more? Pen. Shirt. Wonderful. Wonderful, and thank you so much. Greetings and good afternoon, dignitaries, DTM, Toastmasters, and dear guest. There was this man who was earning all through his life. He worked very hard, very sincerely, extremely hard. He didn't spend even 1 rupee, and he worked hard, he earned, worked hard, he earned. One day he had 56 crores of rupees in his hand, and that day he decided, okay, let me spend this 56 crores. Let me start to enjoy life from today. Just then the doorbell rang. He went and he opened. To his sadness, he found death standing there. What are you doing here? Asked the man. Death said, I have come to take you with me. Man said, oh God, I've just decided to spend my 56 crores and you have come to take me. Please give me 1 month time. I will go enjoy the 56 crores and I will come back. Death said, you don't know how do we operate? We don't give prior invitation. We come, we invite. Man pleaded, okay, give me 1 week time, 1 week. I wanted to go to that hill station. I'll quickly go and come. They said, no, not possible. That's not there in the law. He said, okay, give me 1 day. I'll go see my mom in the next door and I'll come. He said, no, not at all possible. He yielded. Give me 1 hour, please, 1 hour. Death said, no, I cannot accept. Okay, give me 1 moment, yeah, 1 moment. Death said, okay, take 1 moment. Do whatever you want in 1 moment and you come back. He quickly ran to his desk, took a notepad, took a pen. He wrote, I have 56 crores. I cannot buy even 1 minute. Do not wait for the right time to enjoy. Every minute is a living moment to enjoy. And he moved with death. Dear friends, every living moment of our life is the best gift that we receive from Divine. Not yesterday, not tomorrow, today, this hour, now. This living moment is our best gift that we receive from Divine. Another question. We must all have parties in our house. Can you name some occasions by which you celebrate with parties? Any occasions? Can you name some occasions? Birthdays? Wedding days? Any occasions? Promotions? Any more?
No occasion.
No occasion. That's right. Last bachelor's party. Annual event. India winning World Cup. Excellent, sir.
Breakup party.
Wonderful, wonderful. So thank you so much. This man had called for a party. Which man? One rich man in the city. He called for a party and everybody came for the party and everybody were dancing and there was so much exuberance, celebration, enthusiasm, fun in the air. Everybody were dancing and this man who called for the party was dancing the most. He was the happiest of all. But nobody knew why the party was called for. So one man with a lot of hesitation, he went to that dancing man and he asked, may I know for what is this party for? And the man said, yeah, there is a reason for this party, and he continued to dance. May I know the purpose of this party? The man asked again. This dancing man who had called for the party, he said, you don't know? My Mercedes-Benz met with an accident. Everybody stopped. Mercedes-Benz met with accident and you call for a party? Yeah, Mercedes-Benz met with an accident, car completely broken, shattered into pieces. But the driver was alive and I was driving. So, dear friends, he continued. A 60 rupee toy car is a toy. A 60 lakh Mercedes-Benz is also a toy. Now tell me, Alto, which is 3 lakhs, is a toy. Q1 Audi, which is 30 lakhs, is a toy. Rolls-Royce, 3 crores, is again a toy. All these toys can be assigned with a price. But this living moment of mine, my heart which is still pumping, my lungs which is still breathing, my kidneys which is still purifying, is priceless. To this living moment, I wanted to give a party for us to celebrate. And he again started dancing and he continued. To conclude, dear ladies and gentlemen, to go to sleep at bed at night is your choice. to wake up in the morning is his choice. So lesson 1, 56 crores cannot buy even 1 minute of your life. Lesson 2, therefore, enjoy every living moment of your life. This living moment of your life, this living moment of my life is our best gift. What do you say, TMOD?
Is that enough for the best gift she had given? A wonderful message. Please give her a big round of applause. Now we have another project speaker, and to evaluate her, we have another experienced Toastmaster, Toastmaster Jagan. Can I request you to come over to read out the objectives? And before you read out the objectives, I'd like to ask a quick question. What relates to you? What do you think when you hear 2 words? Lucky idiot, skilled investor.
Skilled investor.
Yeah. Or a skilled person.
That was the message. The chances of the skilled person succeeding is more than the chances of lucky idiot succeeding. That's what I told him. He asked me, tell me one more sentence. So I was thinking on the way, a lucky idiot is a street smart. He is more skilled than the skilled person because he succeeds more. I'll read it. Toastmaster Priya is delivering her Persuasive Influence Pathway from the Persuasive Influence Pathway, level 5, project 1. It's the high performance leadership project. This is her first speech. The purpose of this project is for her to apply her leadership and planning knowledge to develop a project plan, organize a guidance committee, implement that plan. This being her first speech, it is for her to introduce to the club her plan or vision. All the very best, Priya. The speech timing is 5 to 7 minutes. You would know mention the title.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Toastmaster Jagan. Now, I remember the next speaker. The best thing which I always remember is the dancing peacock, where she has won the division finalist, one of the division finalists. I still see that the way it was delivered. What an excellent speech it was. Let's put our hands and welcome Toastmaster Priyadarshini V. Think different, Toastmaster Priyadarshini. Over to you.
Radiant's Mandarin community, consisting of 300 apartments, had called for a general body meeting. It was for the formation of executive committee. On that day, president, treasurer and secretary were nominated. Our president announces this new role will now be headed by Priya. I was taken aback. There were crowds sitting there and I didn't know this was coming. My inner voice screamed because I knew what was coming. Because I had this huge respect for the person, the president I looked upon. I didn't say a word. I went and I took that position. And that day I was nominated as executive committee for this Radiance, and I had to lead HK and CC. Good afternoon to all my fellow Toastmasters and guests. HK is housekeeping and CC is cultural committee. Housekeeping is very easy because we have the best team working with us. That is a big B. 95% of it is taken care of. The biggest challenge is the cultural committee. 9 major events have to be conducted by this cultural committee throughout the year. So how did I prepare myself? I told this to myself. Priya, you are the representative, the face for this cultural committee. We have dignitary coming and we also have existing dignitaries here, so quality cannot be compromised. Second is the purpose. The purpose of CC is very vast. We have a Cosmo group and we have to work not just on the social aspect, but we need to bring sponsors as well, work on the economical platform here. The third was commitment. I have to give my time and energy to get things done. The fourth was curation. Yes, selection, getting things done, looking after, driving the whole event was my responsibility. What if you have a champion, but still he's not able to get a good proposal? Stagnation, I don't like it. That's when I thought I'm going to think different. Now, how did I start my journey? First, as an EC member, I created a subcommittee. Here I brought in 2 expertise who had already worked as a CC member in their previous years, and 3 new members who could guide me. Along with this, there were 10 volunteers who would help me to drive the complete event. Under this subcommittee, I brought subgroups, and I had 3 teams, one working under registration, one logistic, and the other one was advertisement. Friends, I had to make one thing clear to my subcommittee when I formed this. Now, what is the mission of a cultural committee? Why do you think it's very important to have a cultural committee in this big community? I told them the mission is to enhance the living experience of people living in this community, be it cultural or extracurricular. The second thing I told, it is not just a fun event. You have to believe that you are investing in people. We are investing. People are running after big toys. We have to realize this is a place for them to relax and have a real life. The third is, the mission for me to work on this was to set a platform for the youth. We have a very good pool of talent in our community. I wanted to set a platform so that they can showcase their talents, be it speech, music, or anything they have. I wanted to keep it open for all so that they feel it is their place. After getting this mission clear, the big event that I got was in the month of September. I was given not just to organize one event, it was a festival season, so I was given to run a 9-day event. When I called my committee for a meeting, one thing I did was, I never asked them, friends, what is that you'd like to see? But I always made it clear saying, friends, this is what I would like to see. By doing that, I said in this 9-day event, the time allocated for us or the deadline is 5 weeks. 5th week we are executing, and the budget given to us is 2 lakhs. We need to work within this budget. So I told them, my vision is collaboration and teamwork. I want new people joining in. No favoritism and no solo performance will be accepted this year. Keeping that in mind, I said for this 9 days, 7 days, I plan to bring in folk forms, be it music or dance. Yes, there was silence. It was not taken with an open arm. I was ready for this. I had done my homework. I had already talked to my friends and I had asked them if they were ready to lead some of these groups. And I had got 2 such leads. When I put this proposal to my subcommittee, they said, okay, it looks like a doable one. And in our 3rd meeting, we got 4 such groups. I told my friends, when we bring maximum participation from our own people, we will be saving big money. So in the remaining 2 days, we can bring events from outside. And when we bring events like a DJ night, we can have stalls of our own people, again of food, clothes, kids activity. Bigger the crowd, better the sponsor. Keeping this in mind, I had already talked to my secretary and we had finalized 3 sponsors, and IDFC was already happy with the proposal that we had put before them. Friends, it may sound very easy, we say 300 people, 300 apartments, you have a mission, you have a plan, but it's not that easy. Number one reason, the challenges that I faced, number one is, as I said, it was a 9-day event. All of us are working. Even during meetings, we met after 8 p.m. and only on Sundays we could meet face to face in the afternoons. The biggest challenge was everyone wanted weekend slot, which was not possible for me. So I had to convince, telling, look, we have a strong advertising team and this is how we plan to bring it before you. When they saw this plan, they said, okay, they were convinced and we kept the major event. We plan to keep the major event on weekends now. The second big challenge was there were many takers for South Indian dance, music and other all items. No takers for North India music or dance. That's when I had to plan of bringing someone from outside, pick some potential members from inside, train them and then make them the lead. And myself had to again volunteer to be a lead for one North Indian form of dance. The biggest challenge was from Pradeep John, if you all know, weatherman. He kept saying it may or may not. It may or may not rain. My plan was to keep it grand. I had planned for an open stage event. If it rains, I didn't want to feel sorry for that. So I had to look for other multi-purpose halls which is inside that community, and I started working on that with other logistics. Now why is it necessary? Or why should I work so much? Because I have a goal. Whenever we take a task, we must have a goal. My goal, as I said, there is a mission. The goal is I want this community to be the best in OMR stretch. Why I say with so much confidence? We have already made our name with the rainwater harvest. Our chief minister's officials have already visited our place. They have found ours to be one of the best with the design, structure and maintenance, and they have taken us as a role model. When we have so many good things happening, I want every achievement of us to be under records, and I want everyone to feel this community as one big family. Thank you so much.
Before you leave here, I wanted to understand what do you think when you feel your luck and skill?
Yes. I think if you're more skilled, whatever comes to you, feel, oh, it's my luck that I got to do, I'm able to do this. I think skill plays a major role, and everything is followed by that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Please put a great round of applause for that wonderful, for having such a person as in charge of housekeeping and cultural committee. I'm sure the people living will be really exuberant and enjoying each and every moment of what happens in that. Now we move to the second session, which is titled as Don't Table the Topic. What an interesting way to approach the topic. And we have a very privileged guest to have Toastmaster Arna. She has been a Toastmaster for over a decade, the first runner-up of district evaluation in 2012, second runner-up of district table topic contest, and district finalist of ISC in 2013. Let's put our hands and welcome Toastmaster Arna Chugani.
Thanks so much. Hi everyone, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Can I hear a louder, more exuberant good afternoon from you, please? Good afternoon. Firstly, I must say what a wonderful audience it has been so far. What a wonderful hall and what a wonderful setup. So thank you for making me just feel so warm and welcome already, even before we started this session. Since we have a few empty spaces, if some of you would like to come in front, we're going to be spending about 30 minutes together. And the basis of this session is we're going to try and make it as interactive as possible. I'd like for us to co-create this session. So even the tag team, please feel free. Please enjoy the session. Timer, you have to keep me honest on time, but otherwise please feel free to really engage and interact with this session. Before we begin talking about table topics, I just want to get a quick pulse check. For those of you who are guests, can you please raise your hands for me? Guests? Yeah. For those of you who are Toastmasters for less than 6 months? Okay, great. And for those of you who have participated in a table topics contest before, can you give me a raise of hands? So most of you have participated, of course. Most of you have participated in a table topics contest before. Great. So let's get started. And what are we going to be doing today is we're going to be trying to support all of you and me in our individual table topics journeys. And I'll tell you what that means. Each one of us is on a table topic journey of our own, which means that each one of us is on a different stage, on a different level of our journeys. All of us started somewhere, all of us want to reach somewhere. So the first thing I want to get straight is, let's do a little bit of reflection about where each individual person is in your own journey. And my goal would be, by the end of this session, we may want to probably think about moving to the next step. Right? Very realistic goal. Do you agree?
Yes.
Yes. Great. A few codes of conduct for our session. The SAA laid some codes of conduct for the meeting. a few additional codes of conduct for the 30-minute session. Firstly, please feel free to write your questions down. If it's a very pressing question, you could raise your hand and ask me the question then and there. We do have a Q&A session at the end, so I'd prefer that we have questions towards the end. Second most important code of conduct, I'm going to be trying to crack some jokes. So whether or not you find them funny, the cue is now. Thank you, sir. One person. For the others, give me a thumbs up if you agree to my codes of conduct. Yes. Some of you are like, you want us to do all of the work in your session. Yes, I have a PPT, but we're going to be doing this work together. All right, let's get started. And most of you have a book and pen, which is great. So we're going to start with a little bit of reflection about what is the journey of an impromptu speaker. For those of you who are guests, we're talking about impromptu speaking, what we call table topics in Toastmasters, which is basically impromptu speaking. We usually speak for 1 to 2 minutes. And we're going to be talking now about what is the journey of an impromptu speaker. So the first step for me and for many of us in an impromptu speaker's journey is we would like to expand stage time. Some of us may come up here, be able to speak for 30 seconds. So we may want to push that to start speaking till the green card is up. Some of us may be comfortable speaking up to the green card, and we may want to move forward to speak up to the red card. So the first step in our journey is we want to be able to come here, feel comfortable to be able to expand our stage time, of course within the timing that Toastmasters gives us. The second level of it is, now that we're comfortable speaking about anything, like we're comfortable speaking on stage, we now want to start connecting with the topic even better. We now want to be able to understand what the topic means and connect to it in our table topic speech. The third is developing a unique proposition. What makes my table topic speech stand out in a table topics contest, and I think you all have your contest happening in early March. In a table topics contest, we have the same topic and we will have about 8 to 10 speakers speaking on the same topic. So what makes Arna's speech stand out amongst the 10 others that the audience and the judges will be hearing? So what is my unique proposition? And the fourth, which I personally find the most beautiful and always try to work towards, is how do I leave an impact? You always hear at the end of a contest or at the end of a meeting, your table topic really made me think. Your speech really made me think. And sometimes in contests, if you don't win a contest, you might have an audience come up and say, I really loved your speech, I wish you had won the contest, right? A beautiful impact, the way you touch lives, the way you touch people. How can you leave an impact? So I'm going to give you 30 seconds if you can make note and reflect for yourself. Where do you stand in this journey? And what is the next step for you? You don't have to share it with me or us, but just take some time to reflect. When you're ready, just give me a thumbs up so I know we can proceed. Please don't take 10 minutes to reflect on this. We have a long timer will throw me out of the room. So when you're ready, I want to see a few thumbs ups. All right, a few more, wait for a few more. The question is, when you've reflected on where is it that you stand on your own journey and where do you want to go next? All right, great. Now let's get to know each other a little bit. How was your day? How was your day today?
Great.
Great, terrific. Sorry?
Saturday.
Terrific. It's a Saturday. What does that mean?
It means a lot.
Okay, so let's now welcome to talk. Sorry, I missed your name. Dharan, to talk to us about It's Saturday. What does It's Saturday mean, Toastmaster Dharan?
So for the Toastmasters and guests, good afternoon. So usually Saturday means for me break. So whole day I don't do any official work. I do only Toastmasters. So that's the best thing on Saturdays. So that's why I said it's Saturday.
Great, thank you so much, Dharan. That is like nobody else give any other unique phrasing. She's going to call you upon to speak. Thank you for each Saturday, Dharan. Would somebody like to talk to me about what they did? What did you do today? What did you do today? Anybody? Yes, I can see the prep. Please welcome, sir. A round of applause, please. What did you do today?
Today was the valedictory day of our youth leadership program. 3 of us, DTM Thomas, Toastmaster Venkataseshan and myself, we went to an organization, an NGO called Sevalaya, and there were 10 students studying in their 9th grade, and today they all gave speeches. It was a fantastic day. It was a very memorable day for me, and that is how we spent it today. In the morning.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for sharing it with us. Thank you. For those of you who are wondering, can somebody solve the puzzle of why did I do this exercise? Does anybody want to take a guess? Sorry? Make you feel comfortable. Of course, it's an icebreaker. But more importantly, what we just witnessed was a table topic live in action. When I asked the question, how was your day? A few of you responded in 1 or 2 words. Dharan spoke to us for about 30 seconds, and so went up to about 1.5 minutes. So that's basically table topics in action every single day, every single moment when you have a question in front of you or when you're responding to something. And that's a seed that I would like to sow in your minds today. Start looking at everything as a table topic. If your boss asks you, have you prepared for your presentation today? And you have a response to give them, that's a table topic too. If your partner asks you, how is this dish that I've cooked for you today? And you're giving them feedback, that's a table topic too. If your teacher at school or your professor at college asks you, did you complete your assignment? And you're responding to that, that's a table topic as well. So the minute we start looking at everything as table topics, we start thinking about how are we speaking for the appropriate amount of time? Both in terms of you want to be within a minute, you don't want to be too long, you don't want to be too short. So are we using the amount of time we have to engage and interact with the other individual? And that's really the only mantra of expanding stage time. To be a witness of how much time I am taking to speak, to be participating in table topics as much as we can, and to be just constantly in vigilance and constantly thinking and reflecting about how much time we're taking when we're responding to anything that could be an impromptu speech or a table topic. All right, with that not very magical mantra, which I know some of you may be expecting, what is the magic of table topics? This one's not magical. We do have a couple of tools that we have coming up. None of them magical, but all of them hopefully helpful for a more sustainable approach to your journey. The one thing that I really loved about this hall, and I'm sorry I'm getting distracted because I really love this hall so much. The one thing I really love about this hall is these windows, right? And the sunshine passing through these windows. And that's really like our mind in many ways. Anytime we're given a topic, we have lots of thoughts and a flood of sunshine coming in. And sometimes, if you saw Toastmaster Dharan very kindly pulled up the curtains when the sunshine was getting too bright. And that's really the essence of some of the things we do. Sometimes when the thoughts become too much, the fear becomes too much, and we don't know what we need to speak, we need a few curtains to be pulled. And let's now think about some of these tools to help us with how can we start pulling some curtains, training our mind to become better at table topics. Let's think about how do we connect to the topic. Now, to a very quick start off, there are different sources of data, information, and content for any table topic that comes our way. A few of them are here, up here. Very common sources of data. And then the most important source of content for me is you yourself. If you ask any Toastmaster who is in love with table topics, at some point of their Toastmastering journey, they may have had a table topic book, which is basically just a book with different stories, anecdotes, moments of their life that they've noted down there. For example, this this piece of Toastmasters Dharan kind of pulling out the curtains made a deep impact on me, because it just made the whole experience of this venue so much more beautiful for me. And I'm sure I'm going to use it in a table topic at some point. So what's happening around you that we are just looking as passing moments, but are actually deeply valuable and deeply important to us? I've had a book for my table topics for a very long time, and you don't even have to refer to it. Maybe if you just make a note in it, you will remember at some point. So it's something that my mentor has found handy from 10 years ago, and that I have continued to do for the past decade. So I strongly encourage all of you to observe, reflect, note, and the brain tends to use it when it finds necessary. So now let's go forward with, these are the normal sources that we all use. Now, but then we have questions, right? Sometimes we're given topics and we don't know what that topic means. We're not able to make sense of the topic. That's the biggest problem. That's the biggest pain point for us as table topic speakers. What do we do then? Let's look at a tool that I have personally found quite useful. And for this tool, we're going to play a small game. Can I have a volunteer who would like to speak about this topic? The topic is just happiness. A volunteer to talk about happiness. Go ahead. All right, and the timer, could you help us with the timer cards for this? The topic is happiness.
When one desire gets satiated, others springs abound. When we feel that he is the one who is going to give you all kind of happiness and love, the next moment he disappoints. Then where can I find the true happiness? Yes, I've heard it. Many say, happiness is not what you find or you go in search looking outside. It is deep within you. And it was very beautifully explained by one of my teachers. She told a beautiful story. There was a person having all the richness, all the toys that he could buy with his 56 crores. But when he felt that he was lost, he went and asked his senior, saying, I have everything. Then why is that when I go looking for happiness outside, I still don't get it? When this senior person is put this question, he laughs and he says, why don't you see me tomorrow? When he goes to his place the next day, this old man is searching something outside. This rich person asks, what is that you're looking outside? He says, I was doing some work with a needle and I've lost it. Then to help him out, he also starts looking for his needle. Then he says, where actually did you finish your work? He said, there inside that room. Then he laughs. You were sitting inside that room and now you're looking for it outside? He laughs. Now the senior person laughs. Yeah, that's the same problem you are carrying. The happiness is deep inside you. If you go looking for it in this materialistic world, no number of toys you buy, how many houses you build, you are never going to get it. So just look deep within you to find your real happiness.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you. And can we have one more volunteer who can talk on fear? Can we have one more volunteer who can talk? Go ahead.
Fear is something which I was having now. My mentor is pinching me that go and talk.
That is very good.
But the thing is, like before coming to Toastmasters, I was very fearful to speak in front of others. I was giving my first table topic speech. I was very fearful. But once I spoke, after that feel I had, I can able to see that the fear is very illusion. Once we get to do that thing, fear will be gone. So I would say that always try to do that fears you most, because once we overcome that fear, we can able to achieve greater heights. We can become unbeatable. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Great. And this was a very successful exercise. I've run this session in quite a few different clubs. And this exercise has been successful in every club that I've run this exercise in. I'll tell you why I think it was a successful one. Please have a look at the topic. Happiness is letting go of what you think life is supposed to look like and celebrating it for what it is. Now let's take a quick recap, and remember, ma'am, speaking about the topic of happiness. Was it relatable to what she spoke after you see the whole topic?
Yes.
It was very much relatable. Let's have a look at the second topic. Was it relatable to what he spoke? Without knowing it, and these were actually division and district level table topic contest topics. Without even knowing it, we've done 2 wonderful speeches on contest related topics. The biggest problem that comes up in contests is because we hear a topic that is quite long, we're like, wait a minute, what does that mean? But when we break it down to its absolute essence, it is topics that we very much can speak about. They're very much possible and very much doable. So, sorry, this had nothing to do with that, but basically, the tool that I really like to follow is take the 1 or the 2 words from the topic that really grasp my attention, that I feel I can really talk about, and then play what I call the relay race with the topic. So start off with happiness, and towards the close of the topic, if there is anything more in the topic that I need to deal with, I close it off and conclude it with that. So it's a wonderful, wonderful exercise, and let's give that a couple of more tries now with a few more topics. We won't do full TT topics given the paucity of time, but what we're going to do is I'll bring to you a few topics, and you guys tell me what are the 1 or the 2 words that grasp your attention. Alright, let's go. Basically, I call it foreign to familiar. So the topic as a whole is foreign. 1 or 2 words are familiar to us. Start from the familiar and move to the foreign. Alright, work hard in silence. Let success be your noise. Work hard in silence. Let success be your noise. What are the words that are grasping your attention? Yeah?
Noise and silence.
Noise and silence.
Work hard.
Work hard.
Success.
Success.
Silence and success.
Silence and success. And that's what makes a unique proposition of a table topic speech. Because each one of us has a different word that captures our attention. So if you start with the word that captures yours, and then move forward to addressing the whole topic as a whole, it becomes your individual approach, your unique style, and it makes you stand out, of course. Let's try a few more topics. If you can dream it, you can do it. And let's go quicker because we don't have so much time. Dream? Do? Dream and do?
If you.
If you. Who said that? I love that. If you. And if it was me, when I read this topic first, the word if you dream really caught my attention. So my approach to the topic would be to start talking about, is your dream yours truly? Is it your dream that you are dreaming? Is it your dream that you are working towards? You see how it automatically becomes a unique proposition. Right? So start listening to the topic well, and whatever it is, for example, dream could be the one that caught your attention. You might go ahead talking about dreaming. You might go ahead talking about doing. Some of you might go ahead talking about dreaming, doing, and the relationship between the two. And all of them are beautiful. All right, let's quickly. Be the master of your fate, not the slave of your problems.
Master problems.
Master problems.
Master fate.
Master fate.
Master slave.
Master and slave, not the slave. All right, for everybody it is. And by the way, these are all district or division level contest topics that we're working with today. You can't have a rainbow without a little rain. Yeah, this one becomes a rainbow. This one becomes a little challenging because it's a metaphorical topic. It's not a topic that asks you to take the same word and make a literal sense out of it. The topic means something. So you might start talking about rainbow and rain literally, and then you might make a different meaning out of it. Rainbow and rain could be pain and joy, or it could be anything else for you that makes sense out of it at that moment. So we have these kinds of topics as well, which are more metaphorical in nature. And so when a metaphorical topic comes out, if you are stuck at that point, a good tool or a good technique would be start with the literal. Again, remember, if it's a foreign topic, start with the familiar. So if it's a foreign topic and you're not able to make sense of it immediately, start with the literal meaning of the topic, and slowly your mind will move towards the metaphorical meaning, whatever it is that you have made sense out of that topic. All right, I'm going to skip the last one, but if you like the topic, just have a look at it. But we'll move forward. So remember this technique, which I have pretty much followed every time I do a TT. So it's foreign, start with the familiar, play the relay race. All right. What next? And this is the big question of leaving an impact. How can I leave an impact with my audience? How can my TT be a memorable TT? And for those of you who are expecting a big magical mantra to come out of it, I'm sorry, but I only have 2 words for you. And those 2 words, so what? The question for us to ask is, I have spoken for 1.5 minutes. So what for the audience? So what is in there for them? So what does it mean to you? For example, let's take a very basic table topic. What did you do in your day today? A very basic one. Let's take the same content that Sir had given us, spoken about how the day was filled with wild bee and today with Medley Toastmasters Club. And at the end, if you want to think about the so what of it, it could be about how many lives are you impacting through your Toastmastering journey? Is a so what question for the audience. For the topic that you spoke about when you spoke about happiness, at the end of it, what's the so what for the audience? So what is your source of happiness? And is it your true source of happiness? Is the so what question for the audience. For you who spoke about fear and coming up here as a way of attacking that fear, so have you tried to take that first step to come before and speak on stage when you were nervous? Is a so what question for the audience. So a wonderful table topic speech that links you and me is when I speak about whatever I want to, but then also umbrella you in towards the end of it. So remember these 2 words, so what, for the audience. And that's the start of creating a truly magical impact. Yes, sir, you have a question.
Just a small point. So what? Making the impact. Some people leave it subtly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But some people really bang it. So you
should.
like this. How do you compare these 2?
Yeah. And it's very similar to what we do in an ISC actually, in an international speech contest or in a prepared speech. Some people take 1.5 minutes for the conclusion, where you're giving the message and giving the message again and again. Some people take 30 seconds for the conclusion and leave it on a very subtle note. And they're both different spectrums of public speaking. They both create impact. They're both memorable. Some audiences prefer a reiteration. Some audiences prefer for their brain to work its magic and come up with the answer. So the very short answer is both of them create impact. The longer answer is, as a speaker, we want to begin thinking about how do I spread across my time? What kind of impact do I want to leave on my audience? Do I want them to think after my speech? Do I want to join the dots for them and give them that on the plate? Those are all techniques for us to think about. My preference is neither of the two and somewhere in between, where you're not really doing the homework for the audience, neither are you leaving them in a space of confusion as to what is it that you are trying to tell us, but somewhere in between. For example, giving them options. What's your source of happiness? Is it your car? Is it your Toastmastering? Is it your relationships? Is it anything that you own? Whatever it may be, I would like you to take a close look at it and think about, is this truly my source of happiness? And it's neither of the two, it's in between. Is my approach to, as an audience, how I like to listen to TTs. But everyone will have a different style, and every style is doable. The one thing to keep in mind is, let's start trying to have the so what in the speech and then refining it as we go. Alright. Here's a very quick example timeline of what goes on in my mind when I am participating in a contest. So we read out the topic twice by the contest master. So this is just what goes on in my mind. I'm sharing it in case it's useful for everyone else. The first time I hear the topic, human minds have the tendency to make a conclusion. Human minds have the tendency to say, I agree with the topic. I don't agree with the topic. I'm not sure what the topic means. For those of you who are seeing the red card, I still have 5 more minutes to go before we wind up. So the first time I'm hearing the topic is, I'm listening to my mind as to what is my mind thinking about the topic already. Where is it leaning towards? The second time I hear the topic, I start thinking about, why is my mind going there? Why am I agreeing with the topic? Why am I disagreeing with the topic? The second time I hear the topic, I try to make reason out of it. And then, of course, start speaking, and I get to the point, and then when I move towards the close, when I think is an appropriate close for that particular topic, I start shifting the focus to the audience, bringing in the so what. Here is the judges' ballot for the table topics contest. Have a look at the number of times we have the word audience, the number of times we have the word speech in the ballot. It's very clear that a table topic speech is a speech. A structured speech, opening body conclusion, impact, audience awareness, audience response. Like a regular speech, a table topic speech is a speech. I'm so sorry and I hope I do not break this by the end of the session.
Yeah.
So this is the ballot. You will find it on the TI website, or we can share a link with you at the end of the session as well. Alright, for those of you who are like, you made me speak in your session, what about you doing a table topic? Here is a recording of a table topics contest, so my performance at a table topics contest. What I want you to do is something fun. We'll watch this speech. Please remember I did this speech about 10 years ago. So for those of you who are thinking, she looks much better, she looks much younger, she looks much thinner, please know it was about a decade ago. But at the end of the speech, we'll do a quick evaluation of what did you like and what did you not like in this particular speech. Alright, I think I just played.
You just go next.
On.
Contestant number 2.
Can you all hear?
Arna Chugani. Think like a wise man, but communicate in the language of the people. Think like a wise man, but communicate in the language of the people. Arna Chugani.
It was exactly 20 days ago that I went to school that is in a very rural place beyond this district. It is a place called Vani. That school has a group of girls who are being treated as though they are nothing. Girls who are being told that the only aim in their life is to sit at home and serve their husbands. These girls want to get educated. These girls want to do something with their lives. These girls want to prove that they are something beyond just being white material. I attended that school that day, and that day changed my entire life. Mr. Contest Master and fellow Toastmasters. Over there, I was conducting a training with the girls, and one of the girls, I was actually asking for volunteers to come up here and speak for just 30 seconds, but speak something and come out of their faces. One of the girls there was so nervous, was so afraid. She felt she was so good for nothing that she did not want to get up at all. And so, I made the rest of the volunteers do something else, took that girl, made her face the wall, and made her start speaking. Once she faced the wall, she was able to speak much better because there were no pairs of eyes staring at her. The same thing, which is to talk, which is to break your fear, which is to communicate and not fear, to communicate. The same technique, but done differently, really made that girl do much better. After about 5 minutes, I made her turn and face the crowd. And she told just 4 lines, but those 4 lines were the most beautiful lines I've heard. All she said was, my mother made me join this program because she wanted me to speak in front of a crowd one day. Today I have not spoken much, but I have spoken to you just this. And today I can go home and tell my mother that I have done her proud. Fellow Toastmasters, just the small thing, but communicated to them in a way that they can understand, can change a person's life. Talk to people not just because you want to show your wisdom, but talk to them because you want them to get something done. Mr. Toastmaster.
All right, let's do a quick evaluation, and this evaluation is a way of giving you a few more tools and techniques about what you can do, what you can avoid in table topics. What did you not like? What did you not like about the speech? I didn't like a lot of things, so please feel comfortable and free to share with me what did you not like from this speech.
I didn't understand where you were heading towards.
Where I was heading towards it till the very end. Beautiful.
We could have had that conclusion a bit earlier. So that
The conclusion came too late. Beautiful. And it didn't really shift to the audience, did it? It was pretty much with just the last 2 lines had the word you in it. Anybody else? Anything else?
I like the story very much, very inspiring. And I was wondering how it linked with
to the beautiful, right? So where were you heading and how did it link with the topic was not known till the last 15 seconds of this topic. And even if it was known, it was not clear because I only spent 15 seconds on it, right? So here's what I didn't like about it. The big pause, I thought the big pause is what I referred to when I said, the story was really long. It was like a big pause before I actually got to the point of the whole table topic. So the big pause. Eliminate extras, and I think that was the story becoming long was because there were a few things that were repetitive. So there were extras, and that is a way of when I am super nervous, when I feel like the audience is judging me, I tend to repeat things. That's my defense style. Each one of you has a different defense style, but that came from not closing the curtain of that excessive sunlight that was coming on me at that point in time. So it's really helpful if you know what's your style, what's your defense mechanism. And the other one that I did not like was not moving to the audience, not adding enough of the audience. And then there were a lot of other ones, but these were the big themes of it. All right, we're not only going to discuss what you didn't like about this speech, let's talk a little bit about what you liked about the table topic. What did you like?
The stage management.
The stage management, you liked the way the stage was used?
I answered it in the other part.
Yes, you really liked the story, you connected to the story. Anybody else?
A lot of depth in the story.
There was depth in the story.
In a sense that she doesn't take things for granted. That's up there. First line up there, done.
Yeah.
You're not going to make monkey business on stage. She is there for a reason and she is going to win it.
Yeah.
I got the feeling.
Yeah. So there was value to
because of the depth of the story.
It was not superficial. You felt like it was true and it was real and really meant something. Great. What I liked is also slightly connected to what I didn't like, which meant I felt like I did two long jumps in my table topic. The first long jump was I did not bring out the topic till the very end, which meant that I quickly jumped into my story and really hooked the audience onto the story. And then as the story became, and everybody was like, oh, but where's the wisdom? Like, what are you talking about? I quickly long jumped to the topic and I brought in the topic.
So that was, yes sir.
You started with the story. From where did the story come?
Because I experienced that story just last week.
Details of that.
And that was fresh, and that was, when I heard the topic, this was the story that came to my mind.
That's lucky combo. Because, for example, my immediate experience was something and the topic is going to connect to what they.
So,
because, why I ask this question, there are people who feel that your own story should be there even in the 2-minute talk. And many times they make it up.
Yeah.
Many times they say, my father, they start something, or my uncle did like this. Because the my something immediate background, they are using this technique. That's why I asked.
So let me address, because that's an important question, and let me take some time to address it quickly after we wind up this particular evaluation of this speech, and then we'll move to that. We have some time for Q&A. What I felt was there was a push versus pull technique. So like you said, and like Sir said, it didn't seem ingenuine. It didn't seem like I was trying to pull you in unnecessarily into a more emotional or vulnerable space. It was authentic. It was true. And when you're authentic and when you're true, the audience are automatically pulled into your space. You don't have to push something onto them. So push versus pull is a technique which I find very important. And I felt like I concluded that last line of saying, speak to people not because you want to show your wisdom, but speak to them because you want them to gain something out of you. And I felt that last line really added a punch. So that was my quick evaluation. And now let's move forward to your topic, sir, to your question, sir, about should we use, and this was a question that came to me before, should we really use and definitely use your own story into a speech? My short answer is no. Whatever is most authentic, use it for your table topic. There was a table topic contest winner who did a wonderful and he had a very unique style of speaking. He used to bring a lot of facts and current affairs into a topic when he spoke about a topic. So for example, if the topic was around success, he would talk about the recent NASA victory of trying to achieve something and bring science in there. But the beautiful thing that he did was about 1.5 minutes into the speech. Remember, this is informational speech, right? When you're giving information to the audience. So when you have informational speeches, you need a little more depth to be able to bring the audience into engaging with you. So what he beautifully did was the last good 1 minute of time he would spend to engage with the audience. Fellow Toastmasters, have you ever heard about a scientist who made a discovery that changed your life? Have you ever heard about the scientist have you ever heard about the man who built the toothbrush? It's an object that we daily use and it impacts your life every day. So you see how it's still informational, but it's bringing in the audience so much more deeper.
Attention of audience.
Correct. So when you speak about yourself, you automatically connect. When you speak about information, data, research, have a little more, think about the audience a little more. And any style that is authentic to you is a successful style. It does not, there is no blueprint, there is no template of this is what I should do in a table topics contest. So like Sir said, if there are speakers who would bring in a story simply for the sake of bringing in a story, the audience just would not connect with them. Because it feels like you're pushing something rather than pulling them in. So whatever is your style, be it informational, be it statistical, be it data driven, be it a presentation, be it a self-story, be it inspirational, whatever is your style, it's what's most authentic to you and you can feel it when you're saying it. The audience will feel it too. I hope that answered your question, sir. Does anyone else have any other question before we move on to a mock TT contest? Yes.
It's a more naive question. The time when you participated, did you analyze all these things and you prepared yourself for the TT contest? Did you have that kind of knowledge what you are sharing now, where you are in and how you need to prepare? Did you do that exercise?
Of course, knowledge builds with time and with experience. Who I am today is a much more, like I would refine, if I was given the same topic, I would refine it quite differently. I would approach it quite differently. But what I did prep for the TT contest back then was I just practiced as much as I could. And that's super helpful. I asked for a lot of feedback. So I asked for feedback not just from the sources who would normally give me feedback, but from, say a guest, I would go and ask them for feedback, because I think that's very valuable. And the other one was, for me, it was this authenticity piece that I just spoke about was always the most important and has always been. And I truly believe that it is authenticity that leaves the maximum impact. So even for the contest prep, there are various approaches to do it. One is think of techniques and think of saying, 25 points are allocated towards this, so let me build this into the speech. Everybody says you should have a personal story, so let me build a personal story. For me, that does not work. It may work for some, it does not work for me. So if I keep that at the base of my mind, then I kind of, that was my prep, really. I constantly kept notes. I kept writing anecdotes and stories that came to my mind. And the last thing I did was really just try to be myself on stage. Great. And we are at time for, I'll be around at the end of the session if anybody has any more questions that you would like to ask. What we have now is we will do a mock table topics contest for 2 or 3 volunteers. And after we have that mock TT contest, I'll give them some feedback. And then we will have a few table topics guests as well. So I hope the session was fun and engaging for all of you, and I hope there was some value that you take. Please join me in welcoming the TT Master or the TMOD back on stage to welcome the TT Master. Please join me in welcoming the TT.
Thank you so much for a wonderful session.
Thanks.
Before you leave, I want to ask you a question.
Oh, table topic.
Yeah. What comes in your mind when you hear 2 words, contingent and certain? 2 seconds, 30 seconds.
30 seconds. Extreme polarity, polar opposites, contingent to something and certain of something. But I think you can be certain of something if you think of the contingencies in advance. Thank you.
Please give a big round of applause to a very informative session. And thank you so much, Toastmaster Arna, for that wonderful session. And now we get into the table topic. I think we are already on short of time. I think we should reduce the time to finish our meeting on time. And let's put our hands and welcome Toastmaster Venkataseshan as a teacher. That was it.
Since we are running short of time, as usual, our TT session is getting reduced to adjust the times. So as we already shared, we had collected some nominations for the mock TT contest, and based on the lottery, I have selected 3 candidates to participate in the TT, and then we will have 2 topics for the guests. So that's how we will plan it. So 3 TT mock contests will be evaluated by Toastmaster Arna, and she will share her feedback as well. So with that, I will announce the names of the participants so that they could go out. I need a volunteer to take them out and bring them as soon as the next speaker time comes up. So the 3 speakers are Prasanna Vani, Prasanna Venkatesh, and Wilson. So Prasanna Vani can stay. Prasanna Vani can stay.
Having
Yes. So meanwhile, I request Prasanna Vani, the presiding officer, to felicitate our education speaker today in this small moment. Face is the mirror of the mind. Prasanna Vani. Prasanna Vani, face is the mirror of the mind.
Thank you, Contest Master. Why do they say the face is a mirror of the mind? Because what they see is what is the first impression we leave on people. We see people from different walks of life and we judge them from their face, from their body language, from the way they dress. But how true is that? I know of a person who came from a very simple background. You wouldn't guess who he is from a simple demeanor. He was a high-ranking official with the Department of Planning in a prominent office. But when you see him, he's so simple and he moves with people also in a very friendly manner. He connects with the most basic people in the hierarchy of employment, be the janitors or the housekeeping staff, and everyone falls in love with him and they love to interact with him and be a part of his team and do anything for that person. And this connect was possible both from the way he conducted himself and also from the way he interacted with those people. He always kept their concern first and tried to understand things from their perspective. It is like looking in the mirror and seeing not only us, but seeing how we are understood in the eyes of those around. So with this perspective, he was able to achieve a great influence amongst his co-workers and family members. So why do we then say face is the index of the mind? By reflecting on our behavior in the face of others, we could do better. We could perform better to achieve success in our life. Thank you.
To Prasanna Venkatesh, face is the mirror of the mind. Face is the mirror of the mind. Contestant 2, Prasanna Venkatesh.
I usually disagree with that topic. Face is the index of mind, because I strongly believe appearances are deceptive. But often people would try to express their feelings in their face. I'm one of them. Like, I couldn't able to think one thing in brain and express. If if I want to say something, my face would, people could get that from my face. So, face is the index of the mind, and always think good thought, remove the negative thinkings, always be positive. We cannot always act like think one thing and express in face some other else. So have a positive mindset, and faith is the index of the mind. Thank you.
Question number 3, Wilson. Face is the mirror of the mind. Face is the mirror of the mind. Contestant 3, Wilson.
Good evening. Face is the mirror of the mind. Yes, 100% agree with that. So, we were discussing about fear some time back. So, when I have something, I mean, if there is a fear is there, so that will actually show up on my face. So, that's what actually happens in the daily life. So, what I actually need to do is basically to come out from that fear and face the reality and try to move on. When things will happen positively, and I'll be able to come out with a good results basically. So that's all from my side.
Thank you. So now the TT contest is over. So I'll give Toastmaster Arna to give the feedback after the guests are spoken. First, I invite the topic is life is beautiful. I invite Toastmaster Anand.
The human brain starts working the moment you are born and does not stop until you come and face table topics. That's what they say. It is said that life, in life you have two choices. Life is like ice cream, enjoy till it melts. Or you have a choice which says life is like candle, try and light others. The question to be asked is, how do you treat life. I'm not here to give a philosophy of it, like I'm not a spiritual person. But what we need to do is understand and enjoy each and every moment, as the first speaker really said. But first, I like to have the 56 crores before I even have that, madam. It's about enjoying each and every moment of your life that matters. We all go to offices. How many of you actually like your job? Honestly. 7 people. Oh, I'm the only person who doesn't like the job. Yeah. I thought. Yeah. Now I'll be honest with you. If you ask me, does it really give me the kick? Because spending 12 hours in front of the laptop is not something which I would like to. I like to meet with people. I like to try and interact with them. Try and see them smile. Because at the end of the day, I believe that it's not about what you say. It's not about what you speak. It's about what you made them feel. That matters, my friends. If you leave one person feel a lot more happy, that could be the difference. And it could be anybody, right? If you're going out, that could be a gatekeeper. If you ask him, how was your day? Imagine how much he would feel. I was just going the other day, I was going in an Ola. He asked me around, what's the fare? I gave him 60 bucks out there. And then when I realized, I thought that it was only 20 bucks. So I called him back and told him, hey, you told me that the bill is 60, it's only 20. So what do I do? So I told him, keep the 40 rupees with you. You know what he went? Sir, you are the first person. He said, thank you. He said, I've never seen somebody like you. Those 40 rupees don't mean anything to me. But for that 40 rupees for that person was a big, that too at late in the night. He didn't have the change. I'm not here to tell you that what you need to do is be generous. But it's about the small moments. It's about spreading joy. It's about spreading happiness. It's about talking to the other person and feeling, how are you? It's about empathy. And most of the corporate people, if you look at it, they don't have empathy. They ask about do the job. But if they ever ask you, how was your day? How did you feel? What problems do you have? Those are something which you... Friends, remember, I will like to leave you one message. It's not about what you do with the life, it's about how you make other people feel. That matters, that makes a difference out there. Even if you don't remember any of my speech, just remember, life's not about yourself, life is about others. Try and make them feel good and you'll find that life is blissful for you because whatever goes around comes out. Over to you.
The next topic is better late than never. I request our guest Dharan to. Better late than never. Okay. So there was a situation when I'm actually a tennis player. I used to play tennis in 2019 and 2018. So I used to play in All India Tennis Association, that level of tennis. So there was this one tennis match which I missed. So actually it was an opportunity for me because the draw was really easy over there, but I missed it. Yes, it was actually hurtful at the end because I knew that I could have even won the tournament. So what I come to say is, don't miss even a single opportunity which you get. Just try for it before it becomes late. So with this, we end the table topic session. I request Toastmaster Arna, if you are ready, can give quick feedback for maybe maximum 5 minutes. For all
I'll do a gentle feedback.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I'll keep it short and I have detailed feedback for the speakers later after the meeting. On a whole, and I'll evaluate all 3 speakers together. All of the 3 speakers connected to the topic in their individual unique way. While one spoke about dressing and the appearance, the other one spoke about authenticity, and the other one spoke about fear and who I am is who I feel. So I feel everybody had their individual take on the topic, which was really good. Couple of suggestions I had was, everyone started with stating the topic as their opening line. So if you dive deep into your approach to it, your story, and then brought the topic towards the end, what happens when you immediately say, yes, I agree with the topic, is the audience steps back and say, hey, okay, he's going to talk about how he agrees with the topic. So to keep the audience hooked on, it's really nice if you dive deep into your story, somewhere towards the middle or towards the end, say, and yes, I agree, or no, I don't agree, whatever it is. It's a technique that really works. The second big point for all 3 of our speakers was, everybody connected to the topic beautifully, but everybody was underconfident if they connected to the topic or not. So everybody had that doubt in their mind when you actually truly did very well connect to the topic. So a little more confidence
would really do, because everyone has a lot of value to add through their table topics. So confidence was another one that I noticed commonly. And the last one was the conclusion. I felt like there was a lot of scope to be able to broaden the conclusion a little more, conclude with probably 30 seconds more, leading on to, if you feel comfortable, to the audience. Otherwise, even leading on to your own conclusion and broaden that narrow scope of that narrow conclusion instead of ending very abruptly. This was my very quick feedback, but I'll give you individual feedback if you want at the end of the meeting. Over to you, David.
So this is the end of the table topic session. I thank Toastmaster Arna for the education session and the feedback to all the contestants. And now I hand over the stage to Toastmaster Vani.
Before we leave the stage, I would like to ask another question for you. What do you think when you hear these two words, belief and knowledge?
Okay. So I always tell my son, somebody will use the same phrase. If you think you can or you cannot, you are right. Said by Henry Ford. So that is the kind of belief I have in whatever the attempts or the things I do. And about knowledge, those shall seek shall get. So that's my take on knowledge. So if you want to, you will get. Thank you.
So thank you, Toastmaster Venkataseshan. Please give him a big round of applause for the wonderful table topic session and to Toastmaster Arna. You know, a couple of days back I met one of an IAS officer who was a secretary in Kerala, and he was telling me how he gets into each topic. So what he does was, when he finds an interesting topic, he writes for almost 450 to 500 words, takes those words through him for the whole day, and then convert it into 150 to 200 words at the end of the day. So he uses that 5 to 10 minutes. I think that will help you not just in table topic, but it will also help you in learning about new topics. And I think table topic also it will help, because it gets you some stories and behind. And now we move to an interesting session which Toastmasters always give, the constructive evaluation. Let's put our hands together and welcome DTM Sampath.
Good afternoon, and once again, Toastmaster Vani, fellow Toastmasters and guests. So we have come to the evaluation session after the main education session is over. So we had two speeches today. For the two speeches, we have dedicated evaluators. So Toastmaster Saravanan will do the evaluation of the first speech given by Toastmaster Sandhya on the dynamic leadership. Toastmaster Saravanan's introduction he has given mainly about his place. He is a native of Coimbatore but settled for 15 years in Adyar, Chennai. This is what he says. I don't know whether he is happy or not happy for having shifted. That we will find out.
Thank you. The best gifts come from heart, not from the stores. That's the profound message that was given by Toastmaster Sandhya. What is the message? Live every living moment. Enjoy every living moment. And that is a profound message I got from this, and that's the first thing I liked. Second thing I liked is it has got a lot of emotional as well as intellectual connect. The third thing I liked is the way she interacted with the audience. She was asking the right questions, getting the responses, and adopting to the answers as such. And the language, style, self-confidence, body language were all out for this particular speech. And I noticed that, she's coming out of the frame, and then she's moving and utilizing the stage now. So that is much better. These are the three things I liked in her speech. But there are lots of things that I would give as an opportunity, but three things I would give as an opportunity for this speech. First opportunity, how relatable is the speech or the story that is given? 56 crores. How many numbers of zeros are there in the crores? Okay, that was the first thing that came to mind. And then Q1, RD, Rolls Royce, Benz, 3 crores, 3 lakhs. Okay, fine. 3 lakhs is I'm fine with that. Okay. So how relatable it is that? Just take a common thread. Okay, because you asked the first question. What is the best gift you got? Things came like ring, watch, likewise. But the answers came was more of Rolls Royce and rest of the things. So I would believe you could have included some common thread and then talked about that. And one of the points that is mentioned in the manual is include a personal anecdote. Okay, that is mentioned in the manual itself. So I would have thought you could have included that personal story and inspire the audience and motivate them through that story. That is the first thing I give as an opportunity. The second thing I would say here is, you ask the first question, okay, what is the best gift and all, and then you got the answer and then you gave a message to them, right? But at the end, if you are told that materialist pleasure is not the one thing that is needed, but what is more needed is living the moment. If you could have connected that, because everybody talked about materialistic pleasure, but at the end what you mentioned is more of living the moment, because life is very short. So if you had connected those two, I would have felt that, okay, that would have been much better importance to the audience and would have inspired the audience as well. Third thing is, in the manual it is mentioned inspire an audience to adopt a new perspective or goal. Adopt new perspective or goal. How do you know that the audience have adopted to that? You could have asked a question at the end saying that, do you believe in this? Do you do this? Or will you be able to do this? Or do you agree with this? If you would have got an answer, then it would have been means that you could have adopted to that goal and the audience also are receptive to that. That is a better connect. So that's the third important point I would say is an opportunity. Overall, I would say it's a good speech. It has got good value and the profound message it has got. But if you have got these three things in your place, it is good. Also, you can challenge yourself by giving the same speech to a non-Toastmaster organization, which is given in the manual also, and ask the Toastmaster to evaluate that also. That is another challenge I would say, because you are a very good speaker. Over to the judge.
Thank you, Toastmaster Saravanan. The second speech today was given by Toastmaster Priya. It's a level 5 Persuasive Influence project, HPL first speech. So the evaluation will be done by Toastmaster Jagan. He is a software developer by profession, passionate about coding and making music. I am currently reading Harry Potter and Sivagami and Sabalam. A very difficult mix. There is also a new song coming up in March 1st, on March 1st, 2020. Toastmaster Jagan.
A leader is one who deals in hope. Hope does not grow on trees. Hope comes from the foundations of those deep-rooted roots. And those roots are laid in the mission of the plan that you develop for yourself. The mission is what this project specifically mentions. What is the vision that the speaker wants to communicate? And today, Toastmaster Priya, I truly felt that the 3 points she said as her mission came from her bottom of the heart. And I take those 3 points as the start of my evaluation as her strengths. The first thing she mentioned about the foundations, about the mission of what she wants to achieve. As this is a high performance leadership project, it's the first speech she has to communicate to us what plan or vision she has. The first strength is that she talked about the mission. If you guys remember on stage, she mentioned 3 points, and I don't want to iterate, but this warrants a reiteration. Enhance the living experience of the community members. Believing in investing in people, platform for the youth. If I tell you that this did not come straight from the bottom of her heart, you wouldn't believe. This directly came, that is the foundation of her speech. The second thing, she differentiated the mission and what is her goal. The goal, which I found was also very interesting, to become the best community in the OMR stretch. And I'm not a person who reiterates the speech, but this warrants reiteration, and she combined both of them to say one big family. That's it. That's what I want to create. And that is the end of her speech. She started with her foundations, ended with her foundations. The vision is what she communicated, and that's what the project tells us, the first strength that I see. The second thing is, of course, it talks about project details, the team, the executive committee, the subcommittee, registration committee, logistics committee, advertising committee. There are so many people she mentioned, 2 experts plus 2 members and 10 more volunteers. You did mention us, the team, which is very important. The third thing that I see is what it takes for the tree to stand in the breeze or the storm. You mentioned about it's a 9-day event, what the purpose, the commitment, the curation that is required, the challenges, the 5 weeks and the 2 lakh budget. You mentioned what it takes to stand inside the storm. You mentioned the foundations of the tree. You mentioned the branches of the tree. Where could you have done better in this project speech? The first thing is that there were a lot of scattered implementation details, which is for the second speech. You could have dwelled more on that vision. When you have dwelled more on the vision, ending the first part on suspense, taking it up from the second part and telling us, this is what I did, this is what had happened. So I would have felt if you had taken the implementation to the second part, this would have been much more suspenseful speech, and you would have taken it to the second part, because I don't know what is there in the second part now. Because you have already mentioned it was, I feel it was already a successful project. So to sum it up, you had the foundations, you had the branches, you told us how to balance, how the tree balanced inside the storm. If you could have taken the implementation part to the second speech and finished the speech on more a suspenseful note, I would be looking forward to the second, which I'm already looking forward to. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Jagan. May I ask the timer? So the 2 speakers are qualified and 2 evaluators are qualified.
Speaker Toastmaster Sandhya is qualified. Among the TT speakers, only I am qualified. And evaluators, Toastmaster Jagan is qualified.
Toastmaster Jagan. Okay, thank you. So,
Toastmaster Saravanan.
So you don't have to strain your brain because only one is qualified in each. Okay, why I asked this was, I'm going to add 1 or 2 comments about speech and evaluation. Before that, I wanted to finish that part. Toastmaster Saravanan gave very apt inputs as an evaluator. The speaker is a very good speaker. Already we know, technically she is quite accomplished as a speaker. So now the challenge in each project is how the project work is done and how the speech is fashioned. Now in the case of Inspire Our Audience, Saravanan already pointed out a couple of points. For this speech, these are the specifications. This is how this speech has to be fashioned. Now if we don't do that, all speeches become same thing. So each speech has got unique certain ideas incorporated in the description part of the project. So we have to be very careful about it. And as for Toastmaster Jagan's evaluation, Toastmaster Jagan's evaluation was very fast to match the speaker's speed. Maybe you had too much details. Actually, you adopted a narrative style from the day you were. Unless it is a storytelling project, narrative style is inferior compared to a speech making style. So you have to fashion it as a speech, like a OBC, whatever the ideas and other things. And if you give some pauses and give the right amount of details, we would have got a better understanding of it. There's nothing lost because we are all in the process of learning. Don't feel bad about it. Now let us come into the timer tag roll reports. Can I request the timer Toastmaster Prasanna Vani to come and present?
Toastmaster Sandhya had 6 minutes 58 seconds. Toastmaster Priyadarshini 7 minutes 48 seconds. Among the TT speakers, I had spoken for 1 minute 40 seconds. Toastmaster Prasanna Venkataseshan for 58 seconds. Toastmaster Wilson for 48 seconds. Toastmaster Ananta for 2 minutes 37 seconds. Guest Dharan for 38 seconds. And among the evaluators, Toastmaster Saravanan had 3 minutes 32 seconds. Toastmaster Jagan had 3 minutes 23 seconds. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, may I request the accountant to come and present the report.
What an exuberant meeting that we had. Today most of the speeches were clean. I list down the names but given the clean speeches: Toastmaster Sandhya, Toastmaster Priyadarshini, Toastmaster Raghunath, Toastmaster Dharan, Toastmaster Ranga, Toastmaster Prasanna Vani, Toastmaster Raghunath, TM Sampath, Toastmaster Saravanan, Toastmaster Jagannathan and guest Ananthan. These are the clean speeches. I would like to give a round of applause. There are a couple of filler sounds and words. Toastmaster Prasanna Venkatesh mentioned R for 5 times. Toastmaster Wilson used so for 5 times, you know for 4 times. Toastmaster Venkataseshan used R 2 times. Guest Dharan used so for 5 times and R for 2 times. Thank you.
Now it's the time for the grammarian, Toastmaster Wilson to present the
Coming to the word of the day, Toastmaster Raghunath Nair used word of the day for 3 times. Congratulations. So, otherwise, TM Sampath sir, Toastmaster Sandhya, TM Arna, TM Nishana used once. Maybe I would have missed out a couple of TT speakers because I was outside. So. And coming back to the usage and sayings and all, Toastmaster Sandhya used living the moment. That was a good usage. And there was a usage like to go to the bed and it's your choice. However, getting up is a divine choice. So that is something which was a good usage. TM Presiding, investing in people, setting up a platform, looking deep within you. Coming to Toastmaster Arna, reflecting, curtains to be pulled, source of happiness, truly a magical impact. Those are all which I noticed. And coming to Saravanan, coming to Jagan, Toastmaster Jagan, from bottom of the heart. So this is the main things I observed. So it was a great session today where we had a lot of good, clean speeches and most of them there was no grammatical errors which I observed in the session. So best of luck.
Okay, I will try to take as minimum time as possible to give a general feedback. Toastmaster Dharan as SAA did a very business-like job which is to be done like that. But only one point I got, I think he is the sergeant at arms for the club, right? Every time he says I am the sergeant at arms for the day, you say I am sergeant of Medley Club. If you are absent, somebody else takes the place, then only they say I am the sergeant at arms for the day. That is one point. And President gave a very good message. Today is relative to last week and today, and also bringing in the table topic idea because the specialty of today is table topic. So she did an excellent address. And the briefing by all the three were very good. Timer, Counter and the Grammarian. About the 2 speeches I have already given. About the table topic master, the role was very curtailed role. But I have one comment, don't take it wrong. All the 3 were very new. So probably a mix would have made a bigger difference to see the difference. There is nothing wrong. Because even the newcomers can speak beautifully also. I'm not saying that. But probably a better mix could have been there. And table topic master, today you acted as a contest, TT contest master also. So the way you initiate the topic and you pass and review, you have to think about the contest because that can sometimes confuse the speakers. I have seen it happen in many contests itself. So you have to be very, very business-like and newsreader type of clear accent, clear pronunciation, and without giving any emotional or vocal variety, you have to give the topic. The same way for all the contestants, because sometimes the contests are being repeated if the chief judge objects because there was a change. So this is learning for all of us, because we are going to have the club contest also coming. And then, so tabletop master. So now, before I conclude, I have to talk about the TMOD's note today. TMOD brought a very unique topic. In fact, I must say I am very fond of this. I am a student of philosophy, religion and philosophy. Afterward, many things I have read and I still continue. So the Je pense donc je suis is a very famous thing, and he brought in. But what puzzled me was afterwards he was giving two words and trying to. I didn't find the real link. But he has got the long experience to conduct the meeting with applause and proper style and decorum, which he has displayed today also. Congratulations to him. Let me initiate all of you to give a big round of applause to all of us. Now back to the TM.
Now let me request another big round of applause to our General Evaluator, You know, these two words that I was talking about and I was asking many questions, are we able to connect any of those words? Like skill and luck? Lucky,
Some of them are opposites, some of them are parallels, asking you to choose.
Yeah, these are these confused words. These are something which when you, if you search and these are some of the examples of confused words that you think when you do it. Like when I was talking to Jagan, the question was lucky idiot against a smart, skilled investor. See, when you see a success, the mind with which you think is whether you see him as a lucky idiot or a skilled investor. That's something where you need to really contemplate on how you think, because that will actually influence you as a person going forward. So that's with a small message. Let me invite our exuberant VP peer who is creating benchmarks in Medley as our presiding officer. Let's put our hands together and welcome Toastmaster Prasanna Vani. And before that, I would request everyone to vote for using the cue cards which has been given. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, Toastmaster Raghunath Nair. Will it be too much if I ask for another round of applause for all the role players today? Yeah. An announcement. The business session which was planned for today is postponed to the next week as our president is suddenly unwell. Apologies for the inconvenience. And we had a district event today on mentoring matters. We were taught, there was a discussion on how to understand the mindset of a mentor and mentee and how to optimally utilize these opportunities in Toastmasters. The underlying message I conveyed was to be a good leader, we have to be a good mentor. And to be a good mentor, we have to be a good mentee. So as mentees and mentors here, let us all start on a journey and realize the potential of being better communicators and capable leaders. Can we have the feedback from the guests, please? Toastmaster Anant.
Wondering why the ESCOM caliber of ESCOM members we have is not there in our company. In Toastmasters, people are not getting paid. But the kind of effort that we put into conduct a meeting of this scale is quite tremendous. It's huge because a lot goes into conducting a meeting out there like this. The educationalization coming from somebody who's been 10 years in became more evident right from she landed this stage, and a lot of takeaways about those thoughts which matters. I think I personally took a lot of thank you for that. And even the quality of speeches out there from the speakers out there when you get a message out there. I think it's about those small things which makes you come over here. And I think I have made up my mind that I will be a far more regular to this Toastmasters and proud to be a part of, to be staying over here and getting to know you also. So I think it's a section which is very nicely conducted and surely looking forward to such associations. Thank you very much.
Yes, Dharan, can you please come and share a few words about your experience today?
So actually I have learned a lot. Like ma'am gave one presentation over here, like how to speak on the stage and how to analyze the question what they give. So that was really helpful, and I'm looking forward more to speak more in front of you so that I can come over my fear. So that's all.
Let us now see the winners of the meeting today. Best tag player was yeah, myself. Best role player goes to Toastmaster Raghunath Nair.
Thank you.
Stay there.
Best TEC, best evaluator Toastmasters again. Best speaker Toastmaster Sandhya.
Actually, appreciation was expressed. As General Evaluator, I didn't include my appreciation of Toastmaster Arna for a unique style of presentation, your USP, unique style of presentation. It was very good, very interesting. And you were answering about the authentic, and that I really liked. I used to say genuine, same thing. But there are some people, even judges, I have heard them, because somebody included a personal story, they were more impressed. Like it's going this one, right? Very good, well done. Please join me in doing one last.
Wasn't that an exuberant session with an exuberant educational speaker too? Thank you all for joining us in the session. With this, we end this meeting.